So the name Carmelo Anthony has been really hot this week. Apparently there's been new footage circulating all around media, which is super odd. And a lot of people got mad at me for not showing the footage. I'm like, bro, did you not read the title? I said that they're suppressing footage. So we need to talk about that a little bit more because apparently little by little more people are starting to see this footage and there's only a matter of time. And there's only a matter of time until someone in the public gets their hands on it. So we have Sarah Fields over here, and apparently she knows someone who saw it, and she had a few comments of her own about the entire situation. Now, mind you, I don't think any of this will be admissible in court, so it's just very odd that certain media sources can see it. There's a good comparison that I can draw to this. If anybody plays video games, there's a game called Cyberpunk. It came out back in 2020. You don't need to play video games to understand this situation, right? Basically, when the game came out, they released it to only certain trusted media outlets to run the game. You couldn't run it on consoles, like reviewers couldn't review it on consoles, and your average person like me on YouTube was not allowed to review it. Things like that always usually go through regular YouTubers and regular reviewers, as usual. This one time with this game, they only let the higher ups review the game, and it was all positive reviews. Everything was great, the game was amazing. When the game came out and was released, it was a complete abysmal mess. It was garbage, people wanted refunds, and everybody felt like they were conned, okay? This feels exactly like that situation. They're only releasing media to certain people so that they can give a certain review on it. This is not normal, okay? And during all of this, Dominique Alexander hasn't said a word because you know why? Because they know crowdfunding will basically halt if he looks guilty. So let's go ahead and check this out real quick. All right, so apparently Sarah Fields saw this video some time back, it sounds, through open records, and it's a shame that she doesn't do YouTube because we need to see this video. But it says, many people seem confused about why this video was allowed to be seen, which parts were permitted for viewing, and other details. Allow me to clarify, and if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I have seen the video via an ORR, open records request. The actual stabbing event cannot be seen, only the moments before and after. That's all I want. You know what I mean? Just slide that shit over to the emails real quick. You cannot see what is happening and you cannot identify faces. The footage is very grainy and recorded from far away. And then she puts in quotes, the opposite side of the stadium. The actual stabbing is not shown as this portion is being withheld by DA for possible evidence in the case. However, I've been told that much of it may not be admissible since nothing is clearly visible. After the stabbing, EMS arrives on the scene 9 minutes later. Now, this is what I'm saying. If that one snippet in between the entire video is cut out, everybody should be able to see that, you know? And it's sounding like Sarah Fields was able to attain this on her own some other way, but this footage is not only passing her desk, it's passing a lot of major media outlets' desks, and they're not posting it. You can see an individual running down the bleachers, tripping and falling, then getting up and continuing to run. This individual was Karmelo. See, this is what we need to see. The publicly released clip has no evidentiary value. And again, that's what I've been saying. If there's no evidentiary value, let the public see it. Unfortunately, many fake reporters and activists defending Anthony have used this video to claim they saw the incident. They saw absolutely nothing. I reported this weeks ago, but for the first time, I'm grateful that the mainstream media is finally catching up. Now everyone knows that people like Tiffany Billings and other disruptors are lying about claiming it was self-defense. We need to see what Tiffany Billings said. Let's check that out. What did Tiffany Billings say? Because now it makes sense, because remember we did an audio interview one time and the guy claimed he was there with his daughter, even though parents aren't even allowed by the tents. And he said that he saw the whole incident and they were stomping them out and they were about to hurt him and shit. So it's real interesting that even the mainstream media news is taking this long to release this shit. Because like I said, she obtained this through her own way. She probably paid some money to get it and she just didn't release it. Now the mainstream media has it and they're doing nothing with it. They want to write an article about it. So, kind of interesting. Now, I just wanted to add this because I thought it was kind of funny. At the exact same time, Sarah Fields is dropping these bombshells about footage being released about seeing Carmelo Anthony run away. You know what I mean? All that extra shit. Minister Dominique Alexander gets on Twitter and starts talking about the riots in LA. Like, bro, shut the fuck up. You don't live out here and you don't give a fuck. These activists they're locusts, bro. They try to strip everything off of you possible and then move on to the next. And that's what he's doing. He saw a golden opportunity. But anyways, he just said some dumb shit. As president of the Next Generation Action Network, he must put that at the front. I want our community to know we are aware of those who have been arrested and we are currently moving swiftly to ensure their release in the legal protection. We will not be intimidated. We will not be silenced. This is why we fight. Yeah. I just felt like that was so fitting for a person like Dominique Alexander. So fitting, But anyways, let's move on. So apparently there's this woman named Tiffany Billings, and she's using aliases to try and request records of that exact thing. But apparently she's lying about it and trying to doctor it. And this is the problem with this case. There's a lot of tension and there's a lot of, not bias, but there's a lot of tribalism connected to the case, or you want to call it racism, whatever. So people change things and doctor things for their greater good. And this is going to be hers. So she says, Hunter Metcalf is a liar. Austin fell to the ground, not in his arms. Frisco ISD allowed me to view the last moments of the video. Why would Hunter embellish his story? Did he want to appear as a hero to his father? Did he need the event to sound dramatic? Did he want to be viewed as a hero? You said that twice. What else is Hunter lying about? One thing is for sure, his testimony as a witness should not be trusted. If I were a defense attorney, I'd destroy his credibility on the stand. So that's what she posted. And apparently she did request these records, but there's a catch to it. Now over here on the back end, we see what actually happened, because Sarah Fields is always over here doing public records requests and finding out what happened, right? So it says, Tiffany made requests to FISD under an alias name Tiffany Billings and Susan McDowell. Oh shit. When I requested records under both names, I received the same records in two separate files from the school, confirming they were from the same person. Multiple emails showed the school responding to Susan, but she replied as Tiffany. She has relentlessly attacked Jeff and Megan Metcalf using her alleged knowledge of this video as her premise. She claims to have obtained this information through open records requests. She also claims to be speaking with Anthony's family 3 to 4 times a week, which is where she states much of her information comes from. It has become apparent to me that Tiffany, though she claims to be a law student, does not understand the public school system, its politics, FERPA laws, or who handles complaints regarding open records requests in Texas districts. Miss, and she uses her last name, has made several unsubstantiated assertions, primarily based on her alleged access to video footage. Let's address some of the basic lies she has told since claiming she saw the incident on camera. And then she shows pictures. And basically, this is where she gets caught. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta really be careful with the information that people are shoving down your throat, especially on TikTok or Facebook or all them bullshit sites. People just be talking. And once there's a sliver of truth that they're aware of, they try to make a huge thing out of it, right? So I'm not gonna read through this entire thing because it's a lot of like red tape and explaining certain codes and FERPA laws and this and that. But basically, she uses 2 aliases to try to request the video so she can actually see it. She never gets this video, at least according to these documents. So body subject, she's talking public information requests from Susan McDowell over here at the top. And then she goes down into her thing. She's requesting a receipt request records dated 5/22/2025, identified reference, blah, 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 just a whole bunch of requests, right? She spends money for the request, $126. And then below it is basically a warning that you can spend this money, but it doesn't guarantee that you'll get the information according to FERPA laws, this, that, and the other, right? Basically protecting students. FERPA is something to do with the school, and it blocks certain public requests, right? Obviously, because they're minors and underage and all that stuff. We move on to the other one. We have another request, and she spent $108 this time. And this time it's from Tiffany Billings. So she's really trying to get this thing. I don't know if these last names or these names that she's using makes her think that she can get the records. Maybe, I don't know if that's a felony, but maybe it's like a last name of a family member of somebody who goes there. I don't know why she's using these specific aliases to request this stuff. And then basically here at the end is her responding and saying thank you, even though you couldn't help me. So she wasted her money. I'm just gonna read a little small piece. It says, Dear Frisco ISD Legal Affairs Department, thank you for your response in my public information request dated on April 9th, 2025, concerning bullying incidents and related documentation at Frisco ISD. I understand your reliance on FERPA to justify withholding records related to reported bullying incidents, investigations, and disciplinary actions. However, I respectfully disagree with your assertion that such records are categorically exempt from disclosure. It is well within my district's capability and obligation under the Texas Public Information Act to redact personal identifiable student information such as names and identifying details before disclosure. So, long story short, she didn't fucking get it. She's arguing her case. They're going to respond. They're going to be like, yes, we're sorry, but FERPA, DERPA, and MERPA. She's not going to get the shit. You can pause it, read it for yourself, but it's a lot. And they're just, it's a back and forth. She didn't get the information that she wanted. I think she got a few attachments, a few this and that, but it's not what she wanted. And now she's just running around on social media saying bullshit. So, hey, again, when there's things like this, you gotta be careful. Racially charged situations, and this is now a racially charged situation, even though it doesn't need to be. Things like that, you have to be careful with the information that you consume because it could just be bullshit. But I'll catch you guys real soon. This shit's crazy. We're gonna have to dig deeper into this Tiffany Billings lady because that's crazy. I'll be right back. Peace. It's crazy in LA. It's crazy in LA. I'll show you a video of some police officers passing by last night when I was driving. A little extra scenery for y'all. All right, bye.